The rise of the internet and the development of digital files like MP3s really had a profound impact on the established music business and the major record labels in particular. And that impact was not a good one for those major labels. Increasingly, what happened with the rise of file sharing sites like Napster and later peer-to-peer sites like LimeWire is that young people increasingly switched from paying for music to getting all of their music online for free through these sites. That, of course, led to a major downturn in the music business and really drastically dropping revenues for the major labels. So the major labels swung into action to file many lawsuits against individuals that were engaged in this illegal downloading. And in 2001, the Supreme Court issued a decision that declared free music file swapping as illegal. And then after that, the major labels really went after lots of individuals that were engaged in illegal downloads and the sites like LimeWire that facilitated that. Now, there's a debate about what was primarily responsible for the downturn in the fortunes of the music business. The major labels say that these illegal downloads were primarily to blame, but I also wonder if the major labels simply entered a period where they weren't really, developing lots of new artists and acts that people really liked. So, but for whatever reason, the major labels were really opposed to these illegal downloads. Now, Apple actually developed a business model for legal online music downloads, of course, through its iTunes store, so that people could buy legal downloads of music for something like 99 cents or $1 per song. Now, this business model has been extremely successful for Apple and the major labels that increasingly are selling their music online rather than in old-style retail outlets. The success of Apple's iTunes for music has also had an interesting effect on the nature of popular music. Prior to the success of the iTunes model, popular music had been focused more on the individual album, all right, the 10 or 12 songs for a CD that would be released by an artist. But given the way that iTunes works and markets music, increasingly it's refocused the music business away from selling music by whole albums, and instead focused the industry more on selling particular hit singles. So more often now these days, people are buying individual songs that they like rather than the whole album. Now, a lot of artists really don't like this model that's focused more on the single rather than the album, because a number of musical acts argue that when they're releasing an entire album, that album has a kind of an artistic statement, that they're presenting. They're releasing an album that has a group of songs that are all oriented around a particular theme or convey the creative vision of the artist. Now, increasingly, users just pick particular songs that they like and ignore the rest of the album. So one of the things we'll talk about is in the discussion boards is your music habits and where you get most of your music today. I mean, do you primarily buy your music from online services like iTunes, or do you just get a lot of your music free through illegal downloads? And also, we have to talk about some of the ethical issues related to illegal downloads. How do we as individuals justify grabbing these pieces of music online? Can it be justified, or is it just morally wrong? That's also something that you might want to get into in the discussion boards. This history of rock and roll and the development of artists in this period is really interesting for what it tells us about the relationship between popular music and race. To some extent, popular music really reinforced a lot of our categories and distinctions based on race. So certain genres of music like rhythm and blues and soul were considered to be primarily black or African American, whereas other genres of music like easy listening were primarily considered to be more white music or music by white artists. So in certain instances, you really did have this reinforcement of existing racial divisions. On the other hand, at other moments, popular music really challenged a lot of our conventional distinctions based on race. And we see that with a lot of white artists that would cover songs written by black performers. And also, starting in the 1950s and then into the 60s, a lot of music performed by African American artists became increasingly popular with white audiences. And this, I think, continued on to the present day, where a lot of hip hop and rap music is listened to and enjoyed by a lot of white middle class teens. So in these other instances, popular music has led to this blurring of these hard and fast distinctions between black and white.